What time is it? It's journey time, and time for another creative journey using Stampin' Up! Products. My name is Kathy Haynes. Thank you for joining me on this Stampin' Up! Journey. Today we're going to be doing a center step card using the two new bundles, the Dragonfly Garden as well as the Garden Wishes bundle. And they're just adorable. We need a little spring in our lives right now after this winter and this season. So this is bright, refreshing, and fresh, and I'm just really excited to use it. So this is the card we're going to be making today. And we're using the dandelions from the Garden Wishes and the dandelion dies. This is the die that we're using out of the Dandy Garden dies. And we're going to be using from the Designer Series paper, which is just gorgeous, that comes in the suite. We're going to be using a piece, let me find it, that has the dragonflies on it, along with the Dragonfly Punch. And as you can see, it does both. It has the large dragonfly and a smaller butterfly. And later this week I'll be uploading another video where we use the smaller one, and we actually use the rubber stamp of the dragonfly to create the larger and a smaller one using the large one, if that makes any sense. So first of all, I'm going to take my Designer Series paper, and what you want to do, because there's small dragonflies and stuff on here that you don't want to waste, so I like to cut around it, because you're also, but cut enough that you have a handle. Okay, so let me put this aside and I'll show you what I mean. So this time I'm going to use the yellow one. So I'm going to take this Designer Series paper. I left enough for a handle, even if it's just a small amount, and then line it up. And the reason you want to cut it off your whole piece of paper is you have another dragonfly up here that's also going to cut. And so you may be in the middle of a big, beautiful dragonfly and you'll lose it because of that. So I'm going to line this up as good as I can and then pop that out, and that will be the dragonfly for tonight. It's actually tonight because I taped this whole card already once without it being on. So let me put that aside and let's get busy. All right, first of all, this is a half a piece of cardstock. It's the Night of Navy. And let me find, here is a diagram that I have. I'll try to list it if there's a way to list a file below. But basically, we're going to take a half a sheet of cardstock. So it's 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. 5 1/2, I'm lying to you, by 8 1/2. So it's an 8 1/2 sheet of paper by 11 cut in half, so 5 1/2. Now you want to score in 3 times on each side, only up until 1 inch. So let me get my trimmer and show you how I did this. Even though I've already done this, I just want to show you. Now, because it's a darker piece of cardstock, the numbers didn't show up as well. So what I did was I took a removable white, like a chalk marker, and I marked at 1 inch and then at 4 1/2 inches. Because this is 5 1/2 inches, 1 inch on either side, that would make this line here, which I'm scoring to 1 inch, be at 4 1/2, if that makes sense. So I've marked 1 inch and 4 1/2 inch, and for later, I know I'm going to need the 5 1/4 inch. So I've got that marked so I can see it on my cardstock. So I simply went in, and I've already done it obviously, but I put this at, okay, let me tell you how I really did this. I put my cardstock in landscape. I went to 1 inch, shut it. Now this, I think I'm even going to paint it red or something. The red alert, do not cut, because I don't know how many of you have, but I know I have. So I put that way at the end, so I will not use it. And then I've got it to 1 inch, and I've marked to 1 inch. So I'm going to score to 1 inch. Then I'm going to stop scoring, lightly move it over, start scoring again at 4 1/2 inches, all the way to the end of the paper. I then moved that to 2 inches and did the same. And you can do it backwards from here to the 4.5, lift it up, hold it up, now press again, and did my half. Now we have a score in the middle, which is in the middle of the card, which is 4.25. And all these dimensions are listed below in my description, so don't think you have to remember them. So I'm going to go to 4.25. And now I only want to score between these 2 markings. So I take it to the 1 and I score to the 4.5 and maybe come back so I got a good score. And then I need to score again up here at 5.5. So I go all the way down to 5.5, 5.25. I lied to you. Like I said, the numbers are below the measurements. So 5.25. Then I would close it and do the 1 inch on this side, lift it up, press down again, 1 inch on that side. That's how easy all your scoring is. Then you flip it, and what the instructions say is I'm going to cut from the upper score line to the bottom score line. So that would be from here, which is 5.25, to 1 inch. So now I would hide my scoring blade and bring back the red alert blade. Line this up to 1 inch. So you can see 1 inch right here. And then I would use the cutting blade, keep it open until you get to the 5.25, and then bring it down and cut to the 1 inch. And then you're going to scoot it over, and because this has 1 inch on this side too, I can simply put it at 1 inch and do the same thing from 5.25 to 1, and I would be cutting that. And doing that, the stamping tripper makes it so much easier when you mark for this one, because it's got so many different numbers, if you know. So here we go. We have our card base. So you just start manipulating it. So hill, valley. Then you've got hill, valley, and then a hill down here. And then as you get that going, simply press this. And then using your scoring tool, which I had out for the original video, which didn't take. So you can always improvise and use the side of a acrylic block. But you really want to score this one. So be sure to press down. I know I'll find it. So I think I should have some kind of a pool on how many things Kathy will misplace during her videos, and that's okay with me. So here we have our base. So we're partway there. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put, with our designer series paper, which I just love, this little bees. I love bees and honeybees. They had that set last year and they didn't keep it for long, and I was so disappointed. So I'm going to glue it together to my card base. And this is 3.25 square. This is 3 inches square, which makes it perfect so you can get 4 out of 1 6x6 piece of designer series paper. And then I think you get 4 of each, so that would be 4 times 4 is 16. You could make 16 of these cards with just 1 pack of designer, just on that 1 piece of paper. So there you go. Got that. Now adhere this to our base. And I love Tombow. It just stays forever. We live and learn, and decide which way to do it, and then kind of center it. All right. I'm going to leave my bottom a little bit open right here. Don't push that down, because you're really going to put another piece right underneath it that I always should remember to put first, but I don't, and that is this piece here. So the first thing I want to do with this strip, and this is out of this designer series paper, isn't that beautiful? So you can just cut them going up. There is a direction they go. So I'm going to put this on my crushed curry base. I can hear my grandkids playing outside. Even though it's dark, it's still early. Okay, next thing I want to do is I like to use tear tape for this. I'm going to put a piece of tear tape back here. And I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom, because I really want this to stick. And the middle one is simply for my twine. I'm going to be using the Mossy Meadow twine. And I hope my hair doesn't get in this, because I had it in a ponytail and it came out. Alrighty, make sure I'm still on screen. So now I'm going to line this up. I'm lying to you. I'm going to take my piece of Mossy Meadow, and I want to put it, I'm only going to put it lightly in case I have to move it, because I want to make my bow right there. It looks like I did pretty good. And then you have to look for my fork bow, which I actually use a cake breaker, my fork bow video, because making bows is really difficult for me, and that fork bow video just makes it so much easier when you're just doing the bow. Okay, I've got my bow, and then I kind of pulled mine apart here because the twine kind of does kind of give it a little bit of dimension. You can or can't do that. Whoops, sticking. Okay. All right. So now that, with this, I'm just going to put this right here and line it up, but I want it under this flap. That's why this part should always go on first, but I'm never going to remember that. So there you go. Line it up, scoot, scoot, scoot. Okay. So now I have that part on, and it looks pretty plain, but I still love this designer series paper. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the dandelions, and I have cut them out. I've already colored one, but using basic white cardstock, which you know Very Vanilla has gone away. And I don't have the newest the new white that Stampin' Up! Came out with, but this is some that I had on hand. And I'm going to use this die, and look how intricate that is. Can you see that? It's just gorgeous. So I've already colored one. I'm going to show you how I colored it, and I'm going to be using another new tool from Stampin' Up! And I'm putting down a piece of acetate. When you go to sponge on paper, I'll show you the results in just a minute. Let me show you. I have a piece right here. But see all that ink? That's all ink wasted. So if you put it on a piece of acetate, you're picking back up the ink that you're wasting. I'll show you, because it stays wet on the plastic. So I'm going to use Old Olive, and I have got my hands on, are you ready? Drum roll. Stampin' Up! Has come out with their own blending brushes. Are these not gorgeous? And I want to tell you that these are the softest ones I've ever, and I have a couple other ones, and these are so reasonable compared to the other ones. But look how soft that is. Like when you touch one of those blankets, that's the ultimate soft blanket. That's how these are. So we're going to use that on here, because, and how I'm doing mine is going to be color families, and you can clean them off, but I think it's just best. So I'm going to get a couple more sets and have color families. So I'm laying this on my acetate because I don't want to waste my ink on the cardstock. And I'm just going to, and they're so soft and so delicate that it's not going to tear my delicate die. Now let's get the crushed curry. And if you tried sponging this or using a dauber, it would be a little bit difficult, and they could tear and or bend. So I just really like this. Let me move this up. And I'm not going to stamp off. I normally would stamp off if I was going on cardstock, but I want dark color right here at the base, and then I'm going to pull it up. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. And I'm picking up all that color underneath also. Now, just to highlight the tips, I took a Stampin' blend. This one's Dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to just put some more color right on the tips so that they'll stand out. Aren't they cute? I mean, I just think this is adorable. So fresh. We need something fresh in this time, because our air is getting a little stale in our house. What do you think about that? Okay, so now I have my dandelions done. Let me put my ink away. So you have 2 dandelions. Now you could use 2 Stampin' Up! Small mini dots, but I don't have them with me at this table, so I'm just going to use a larger glue dot that I have. And I just, like this, how this is, I'm going to separate them and have them come together right about there. So I'm going to put the glue dot on the back here, and then I'm going to take it onto my card and I'm going to sneak it underneath this ribbon. Okay, then right when the glue is under the ribbon, I'm going to press, and there you go. So isn't that cute? Now I have these overhangs, so I'm just going to snip them off. There, snip part of my card too. And if you want them to be a little bit more stable, you can put some Tombow right on the back of them, just a little bit, and press them exactly where you want them so they'll stay, so they'll behave. How's that? All right, it's getting there, believe it or not. Okay, now this is the dragonfly that we cut out. Now I'm going to cut it in further so I can give it a little bit of dimension. I'm going to bend it up, and I'm going to exaggerate the bends because it's going to fall. And then I'm going to take my thumb and just kind of do a little bit of paper shaping. I'm then going to take 2 small dimensionals, and I'm going to put them on the back here. One would work, but he would wiggle around. I noticed that. I did one on one of mine. So yeah. 2 will keep it more in place. He won't try to do the twist. All right, and I'm going to put him, now it can overhang all the way to here because your envelope goes all the way there, so he can overhang. All right, now I'm going to put my 2 strips in the back before it's too late. And like I said, all the dimensions and everything for this are going to be listed in the description. Isn't that gorgeous paper? Just makes it pop with the Night of Navy. I just love that contrast. There we go. So this card is coming along. Okay, right about there. A little bit higher. That's why I like using Tombow, because it is forgiving. We're getting there. All right, so the next thing we want to do, we'll put our sentiment on here. And I'm going to use a regular size dimensional for that. And you want to put it off to the left because it's going to overhang. So put it between the T and the H about. And I'm going to put that right there. What do you think? Okay. So we have the front of our card basically done. I like to add bling, so let me find my bling. Here's one that I've used a lot. So what I'm going to do, you buy the regular rhinestones and you have your blends, your alcohol markers, and you have every color of the rainbow then. And when you're using our blends, you can make the rich raspberry, the balmy blue, whatever color match your cardstock exact. So I'm going to do one big one. You simply go over it gently. You don't want to ruin your tip. And I think I'll do 2 medium ones. Okay. You can see I did dark red ones, or I think that was a dark pink, some kind of a lovely lipstick or something. A rainbow of fruit colors is what it can be. Okay, let them dry a second. And then start putting your bling on. I think I'm going to put one down here. One up here. Whoop. Okay, see how I'm fumbling? Watch this. I don't know why I didn't use it to begin with, but we all have our tool, our Take-A-Pick tool, which makes this all so much easier. So instead of fumbling with all these, which I still am doing, you simply pick it up and place it. Okay, where's my other one? I lost my other one, so we'll make another one really quick. And I'll just do a little one. Okay. And then you simply push with your tool, it picks it up. Isn't that amazing? And I lost it. So amazing. But it really is. So I'm going to put a clear one on now to save time. And it comes with an extra refill, and I left the lid off of it just now. After I made my video, that didn't happen. So I'm going to put it right here, and I'll change the color later, but for the sake of the video. So I have my 3. You always do things in 3. Now we're going to do the inside of the card, and I've already stamped my daisy. But I'm going to use Seaside Spray. You could do a yellow daisy, but because when you are playing artist, color is your world. You can make anything, whatever color you want to. So I'm just going to add some. This is light Seaside Spray. Add a bunch of color. And I'm going to go back in with the darker. Okay, I'm using the solid side. Leave a little bit of white and then kind of bring it out. Okay. And then I'm using an Old Olive Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to do this. I'm not going to really work on it. I'm just going to add some green. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to put on this piece, once I get this put away, is I'm going to grab a bee. Can you see this bee? And this is in the stamp set, the Dandelion Garden Wishes, and it has 2 die cuts for the bee, so you can stamp it twice and cut out 2 at a time, which is really dandy. And I'm going to take some Daffodil Delight and do his body. Okay. Super simple. Then some Seaside Spray. And that's the light one. Go back in with the darker one. Down here at the bottom. Then in the shadows. Can do a little bit. Isn't that cute? So just any way you feel it. I think I'm going to even add a little bit of basic black. Just a touch. Let's see if I can just touch it up. Just a little bit to give it, make him pop just a little. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to use my upline. Got me this great mass pad, but it's so beautiful. I want it out here. So I'm going to kind of mold my bee using the Take-A-Pick tool. And then I'm going to use a small mini dot, mini dimensional. And I'm going to pop him up right there. Isn't that adorable? Now I'm going to use tear tape, which I love. Did I mention I love my tear tape? Okay. And I have nails, or I'd use my Take-A-Pick tool. And I found my other yellow dye. Okay, so here's the front of my card. And it goes, whoops, I didn't put this on the yellow yet. Put it right here on the yellow. Oops, scoot him over. Okay, you can use tear tape or Tombow, whatever adhesive you like. And put this on the inside. And the Tombow gives you room for air. That's what I like. And there you go. There's our inside of our card. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. And because I can't stand it, I have to make another yellow one and trade that one. So here we go. Make a yellow one. I usually let it dry for a second and talk like I'm talking to you. Give it a second, then add a second coat. Take your Take-A-Pick tool, push it, and place it. What do you think? So what do you think, everybody? I think it's adorable. Thank you for your kindness. Again, we're using the Garden Wishes and the Dragon Garden bundles out of the new mini catalog, which is right here. Now you could also stamp your own dragonflies. These are the stamps, and using the punch and color them. And let me show you a really neat way of coloring them. So let's color this one and then we'll be finished. But I wanted to show you this trick. So here's the stamp. So basically you go on one side, flip it and do the other. And even though it looks like it's going to go the wrong way, you're going to see that it's going to end up perfect. And I'm going to do this one in a pretty bright color because I want you to see how this technique that I'm going to show you works. Okay, so I'm going to use, these have nothing to do with the card that we just made. So I'm using Pacific Point and Granny Apple because I love those colors. And I'm take the lightest color first, which is Granny Apple. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm then going to take a dauber and I'm going to go towards the bottom of this and up towards the sides, a little here, a little on the tip maybe, and on the side. And then I'm going to stamp one side of this dragonfly. Isn't that beautiful? Probably should have came over a little more, but I'm going to wipe this off. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the green, add more color to the edges. Okay, and let's see how this one comes out. I'm going to do this side. This one I brought out a little further, which you probably should have done. I should have done. But isn't that gorgeous? So you can make your dragonfly. It's like dressing up Barbie. You can do whatever you want with her. So I think that's pretty cool. Now let me show you the mini catalog really quick. And if you do not have your own mini catalog and would like one, please contact me below and I can send one out to you. But this one is just filled with amazing new product. And we'll be using this mini messages next month. It's so amazing. It has one die that cuts out all these messages, and then you have all those sentiments that you need. You don't have to go looking for them. They're already ready. So again, there's a mini catalog. It's also celebration for January and February. So we have plenty of celebration items. You spend $50, you get one free. That is located on my desk here somewhere, but also here it is on my website, which is listed below in the description, the celebration. So there's so many things that you can get for free with a $50 purchase. Stamp sets. This one's really great. Heal Your Heart. We're in this together. We need that now, don't we? Wishing I could heal your heart. And a lot of us need that right now. Also paper. Here's 6x6 pads of paper that are free with a $50 purchase. The donkeys are adorable. So there's just a ton of fun stuff in there. So please let me know if you'd like me to send you one of those catalogs. So these are our projects. I hope you enjoyed them. I have another bee. You could also put a bee up here. I probably should have done that. But I hope you enjoyed these projects. Thank you for stopping by and taking this little journey with me. Again, my name is Kathy Haynes. Thank you.